Hello and welcome to the Data Privacy Lawyer. My name is Funmi Owolabi and I'm the principal attorney. Today's review, we're going to be looking at cookies. So we're doing cookies today, and this is considered a cookie banner. That's what we call it in the privacy space. That's what this is. So by clicking accept all, you agree to the storing of cookies on your device and to the associated processing. This word means a lot in the privacy space. Processing is any operation or set of operations on personal data. It can include things like storage. It could include extraction, usage. It could include viewing. Any operation or set of operations. It's very broad. So essentially, if we click accept all, and by we, I mean me as a website visitor, I'm agreeing to the storing of cookies on my device and to the associated processing of data to enhance site navigation, analyze site usage, and assist in their marketing and performance efforts. Now, do I really agree to this? Am I agreeing to assist them in their marketing and performance efforts? I've decided as a website visitor I do not want to. You may withdraw your consent at any time via the Manage Preference button in our cookie notice. Perfect. So I, as a website user, don't want to assist them in their marketing and performance efforts. So what I'm going to do is click Manage Preferences. Then we're going to see some stuff. We're going to see all of the stuff they said. I don't want to assist them with their marketing efforts, so we've toggled this to off. We can see that's the X button. If I turn this on, then I'm saying that I agree to help them with their marketing efforts, but I'm saying no. Now, the other thing I want to iterate, which I think is wonderful, absolutely wonderful, is if it is off, it's gray. If it is on, it's green. And this is a perfect example of an organization being very intentional about their cookie consent management preference process. Sometimes you'll toggle these on and off and it'll be the same color. So it's difficult for consumers to confirm whether or not they're turning on the cookies for marketing efforts or off. I love the change of color. I think this is an excellent feature. So it is going to be off for all of them that are not necessary. You'll see that the strictly necessary one is on, and I cannot change this. You cannot change and toggle this because it's core to the functionality of the website. Now, the other thing I want to address, and I think we're going to have a very good review today, is I'm going to scroll down and you can see each of the cookies. And you can press the I button and you can see a description of the service, the processing company, the DPO, and the data process. This is fantastic. If I could pin this, I would pin this. This is an excellent representation of what a cookie management consent process flow should look like, in my opinion. We've also got the legal basis. I don't think I've ever done a review on any of my channels that exemplifies the cookie consent flow in this manner. You can see here that privacy has been done very intentionally. So this is wonderful, okay? They've also got the retention period here. Look at this. It tells you the explicit amount of months. I really, really like this notice. I really, really like this notice. So in that respect, let's go back, okay? Because we want to look at the notice too. But I think it's really important for people to see what a consent preference center should look like. The expectation, if I could rate this, I would rate it 10 out of 10. That's what I would rate this. Okay, we're going to confirm my choices. Let's go back to the categories. We've got all these turned off and I'm going to confirm my choices. So let's talk a bit about the fact that this was updated this year, February 2026. That's excellent. Okay. The other thing is, let's talk about this button. Consent, the terminology consent, it means something very specific in the data protection world, and there are factors that must be met to obtain something called true consent. If you want to obtain true consent from a consumer, there's certain factors you have to meet to include. The consent has to be unambiguous. It has to be freely given, and it has to be just as easy to withdraw as it was to give. So I don't want to go back into the demonstration I gave of the preference center because I think that would take too much time away from reviewing the actual notice. But the reason I've highlighted this button is, although at the beginning of this review, I said that I don't want to have marketing cookies used by advertisers to serve me ads, it was very easy for me to click that button and say, actually, I'm okay with the marketing efforts now, confirm my choice. Do you see how easy it was for me to do that? Very easy, 2 buttons. Again, switch it off. This is very important in order to meet the definition of consent, because it should be just as easy to withdraw consent as it is to give it. Now, it was very easy, 2 button clicks for me to give, 2 button clicks for me to withdraw. That's what I've just demonstrated here. So The preference center, 10 out of 10. That's my own opinion. I think it's really detailed in terms of the insights given to a consumer. I think it's very easy to read. I like the positioning of the banner that was presented at the beginning, and we haven't even gotten into the specifics of the notice. So when we look at cookies, we look at two things. We look at that preference center, that's very important, but we also look at these representations that are placed on the site as well. And you can see here, not only in the preference center are we presented with each of the cookies, we're also presented with the same details that we had: description of the service, the processing Why is this valuable? I talk a lot about geography. There are certain geographies that are considered more high risk than others. The value in putting the address of the third party that facilitates the cookie collection is very valuable, I would say probably for privacy practitioners, but also from a data protection compliance standpoint for an organization. Because if your privacy program dictates, hey, we don't process personal data in these high risk countries, then you wouldn't be engaging with third parties in those high risk countries, right? That would be a consideration you do during your vendor due diligence phase. So I really, really like this. This is a wonderful notice in my opinion. And the flow for the consent management platform, again, is also very good. I think one thing that a lot of businesses could probably take away is generally when we come and look at notices, the retention period is always a very vague sentence. Sometimes companies will put something like, we process your personal data in accordance with our retention policy, but they don't give details. And I thought it was so wonderful that with some of these, this organization actually provides the specific period of time. Look at this. That's excellent. So I really hope you enjoyed my review. I really enjoy looking at these in my own personal time. I think that businesses should always be optimizing their privacy program. These public-facing documents are part of your privacy program. They're not the only component of your privacy program, but they are valuable, and it's interesting to see what other companies are doing, whether or not it influences your own specific company, because there are a lot of details that are missing from this organization. I don't know the geographies where they process personal data, but I must say that the preference center is excellent in terms of getting consent. So I hope you enjoyed this review. If you have comments or questions, leave them below and I'll see you in another review.